Gentlemen, welcome to the Right Away podcast. This is your host, Coach Yates, proudly sponsored by SH Carter. And today we have a special guest. We have former longtime basketball coach here at Greenville High School, Mike Anderson, who is now our AD. So, Coach Anderson, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I think first things first, what's been the biggest transition for you from what's that transition been like going from basketball coach to being the AD?
It's been a transition, one I've enjoyed and still trying to get better and learn every day. But people ask me all the time, well, you're not coaching anymore? And I'm like, well, yes, I'm still coaching, but now I'm coaching the coaches instead of the players. So definitely miss those relationships with the players and things, but obviously I'm around a lot and still checking up on everybody and looking forward to diving deeper in our relationships with our coaches and helping to assist them in building their cultures and just continuing to do what we do in Greenville athletics.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Coaching me might be a little bit harder than coaching some of the kids. We have a couple of stories, but we can't share those on here.
I got to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah, that's it, man. What would be an AD? We hired a new football coach this year, and Coach Watson. We just had him on. We got a new full-time strength and conditioning coach, or hopefully soon to be, in Coach Evans, and we also hired Coach Stoneman. Can you walk us through a little bit of those hires and what that process was like for those guys?
Yeah, there were committees set up, obviously, for Coach Watson and for Coach Stoneman. We posted the strength and conditioning job, and Coach Evans was already right here and doing a great job in our building. You know, he was qualified and certified, and he was just the right person, the right time, right fit. He's been killing it. I mean, just adding value to a bunch of our teams that have, just doing better and better with their culture in the weight room and getting more teams to lift year round and not just hit or miss throughout, their seasons and stuff. So I feel like we're building the dream team here. Got a lot of great people excited about all of our teams and the success we've had this fall, and we'll just continue to try to build off of that moving forward.
Yeah, so speaking of the success we've had in the fall, obviously, our football team is still in the playoffs. They play TL Hanna Friday night in the second round. What about some of our other fall sports teams? I know girls cross country has got their state championship meet this Saturday. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe some of these other fall sports and how those seasons went.
Yeah, so cross country has their state meet Saturday in Aiken. Both teams qualified. Our girls are, I think, the 2 seed, so to speak, based off their times and averages and all of that. So they've got a chance to make the podium this weekend. Really proud of them. I think they had 3 girls that made all region. So both teams, like I said, overachieving, getting the best out of them. Coach Jenna Bates and her staff have been doing a fantastic job, and got a lot of young kids on both teams, so the future's bright for them. So again, proud of our cross-country teams. Again, both qualified for state this weekend. Swim teams had a good season. Coach Jan Rice and her staff, led by Ford Shirley on the boys' side. He set a school record this year in the 100-meter fly. Girls had a really solid season as well. Girls tennis, they qualified for upper state. They had a 14-5 record, and Madison Arp was selected to the North-South games. Those teams are doing well. Like I said, we've had a great fall. Girls golf, they qualified for state for the second year in a row, and Lucy Patrick and Ann Carter-Louis both made all region. In volleyball, Coach Haley Smith, they had a heck of a season, broke the school record for wins with 26 this year. Made it to the third round this year before losing to Nation Ford in a tough game. Really proud of their girls and how they continue to add value and build their program. Like I said, we just had a really good, successful fall all around with all of our teams. So looking forward to building that momentum going into winter seasons.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And you touched on the cross-country teams, and I know our volleyball team has several young players. Being the AD now, you got to focus a little bit more on the community as a whole in the athletic department, not just on your specific team. What are some things you want to do that are going to kind of get a pipeline going and just get those type of things established? Do you got any type of ideas and visions that you want to see come to fruition?
Well, one thing is, the things we've done in the summer with our team camps and little kids camps. I mean, just offering opportunities for kids to be seen by college coaches. Kids camp numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger. Sorry, let me turn this off.
You're good.
We had huge numbers for all of our little kids camps. They just continue to have more teams adding camps. Like I said, I mean, girls tennis, they had 90-something kids this summer for kids camp. So just our numbers of all of our teams and being proactive in the community and kids and everyone knowing who our coaches are and in ways that they can get involved and come into matches and games and, just seeing all of our coaches around really helps with the youth and just continuing to build from our youth programs and summer team camps and things of that nature.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So your last season as a basketball coach was probably your most memorable for a lot of different reasons. Being the head coach, and what was last season like for you of the whole run that we had? I mean, it was special, and it meant a lot to us down the stretch, for obvious reasons with the passing of, Scully. But beyond that, too, just what did it mean to you?
Well, we've been knocking on that door for a long time. I feel like we've, one of the reasons we've been really successful has been our culture. We talk about the Raider way all the time and just building leaders, and that's something the last probably 6 or 7 years we've really gotten a lot better with. And it's showed on the court with people think you just roll the balls out and, go win with, whatever. I mean, there's so much more into it than that. We're working on building the whole student athlete and, for 20 years from now, not just while we have them for a season or two or, some of the really good ones, 3 or 4, but just trying to continue to build off of those things. Everybody think, oh, last year, obviously, we won a little hardware, but we had some struggles last year. I mean, early in the year, we were not playing well. I mean, had a ton of talent, but just meshing them together and trying to get them to be locked in and play hard all the time. Like, we had some games early in the season. I was upset that we won, just to be honest.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm the ultimate competitor. I don't like to lose at anything, but just felt like we didn't play well enough to win some of those games, and we got by just off of talent and, just not sustainable to win in the playoffs. But, about January, Tucker got hurt and went out a couple weeks, and we came together kind of at the end of the Malden game over there and won a tough game that we probably shouldn't have. And I think after that, everybody was like, okay, like if we just do what coach stays on us about and we lock in and we play harder and, more consistent on defense, we can be pretty good. And we just went on an unbelievable roll after that. And we pounded a couple really good teams there for about 2 weeks and carried some momentum into the playoffs and kind of got hot at the right time. And it's just one of those things. Like, I know Scully, you can see him back over my shoulder over here. He was with us the whole time, and that part just made it even more special. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why we were able to win is everybody was locked in and trying to do it for him. So it was a special season, but it wasn't without bumps and hiccups and a lot of things along the way that people don't see. That we had some struggles. We had a lot of struggles, and we just stayed together and kept fighting and took it one day at a time, trying to get the job done. And the standard's the standard, and the Raider way got us there.
That's it. Yeah, man. It's for me looking back, being my first year actual coaching, even though it was C team, it was awesome just seeing the whole inner workings of how it all came together from the Oak Hill trip where, we went up there and that was a big team bonding experience. And I think that was kind of when we went up there and we competed with a team that plays on the national level. It showed like, hey, we got a chance. We can do this. And, I won't forget, though, I think the sticking moment to me was we talk about player leadership so much. Bad teams, nobody leads. Average teams, coaches lead. Great teams, players lead. And I'll never forget the last practice. I think it was before our upper state championship, or it might have even been before state. We had a huge argument in practice between several guys, but it was like leadership and accountability kicking in. that senior group last year of Nemo, Sully, Izzy, and Roman, they've won a lot of games here, and they all four, honestly, I think their paths kind of looked a little bit different. Talk about that senior group and what it was like watching those guys come through the system and just watching like their growth and development. I mean, even Izzy, who didn't start, he hit some big shots in that state championship game. What was that like, seeing him kind of have his moments, so to speak? And obviously we know Roman and Nemo contributed a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there to unpack, but we'll just give it a shot here. A lot goes back to Izzy in that Malden game I was talking about. Like, we were shorthanded, some got a little chippy there towards the end of that game, and Izzy stepped up, and we didn't play well enough to win that game. We should not have won that game. I know Coach McLean at one of my good friends at Malden, he does a great job. They should have beat us. I mean, no doubt they should have beat us, but Izzy hit a couple big shots down the stretch, and I think for him that finally settled him down a little bit with his confidence, and he went on a tear after that. I mean, when Tucker got back and was healthy, we're like, well, who are we going to start? I mean, is we going to stay with Izzy or Tucker? I mean, both of them were really good, and obviously they can space and spread the floor, and Izzy hit the biggest shot of the season in double overtime. So really proud of all four of those seniors. Sully, obviously his season ended early with his injury, but, a lot of guys would have packed it in then, and he continued to try to add value and, coach guys up and be there for them on the bench when they came out. So Roman and Nemo, Roman obviously was a north-south guy, and he's having a heck of a start to his collegiate career down at USC Salkehatchie. Very proud of him and the things that he's just scratching the surface of what he's going to be able to do at the next level. But Nemo's one that I'm really proud of. I mean, kid just came such a long way as a kid outside of basketball. I mean, I think he got 9 technicals his freshman year on JV, and I think maybe he got 1 his last 2 years. I don't remember exactly, but he's a competitive guy. And I've had that same competitiveness and I like to say passion.
Right.
And sometimes that's one of the reasons we butt heads sometimes, but also one of the reasons I think I love him so much is because I see so much of myself in him when I was that age, and trying to control my emotions and grow through that and mature. I tell the guys, you've heard me say this, I'm 48 years old, and I still struggle with some of that stuff sometimes, but I'm a lot better than I used to be at that age. So I think that's just part of it that I can relate to. And, that senior class was special, and for them to go out the way they did, I mean, they're legends. I tell them all the time, just legendary, the whole team, but really special, especially for that senior class.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We talked about coaching coaches as part of your new job, and I think it would be a disservice to not mention the staff that you've built here at Greenville with basketball that Coach Stoneman inherited. And, as a part of both staffs, I was blessed. But, what about, Coach Walker, Coach Bruton, Coach Lights, Coach Parks? What is it like as a head coach kind of assembling your staff around you? And what do you think kind of goes into making a successful staff, if that makes sense?
Yeah, one of my favorite pictures from last season is all of us after the state championship game. There's a picture of all of our coaches together, which, like I said, it's just people see those pictures and those moments, but they just don't understand all the things that go into that. The Friday night games and all that, those are fun, but, there's a lot of tough times and dealing with players off the court and trying to help them in their lives, not just basketball. Obviously, we all want to win basketball games, and that's part of it. But having these guys develop as young men is all of our first jobs, and I think that's something that's special with that group of coaches, and Coach Stoneman embellishes as well as getting young men ready for life after basketball is the main thing that we all have in common and that we're trying to accomplish, and just being on the same page. Coach Bruton, I could go on and on about all of them.
Yeah.
Just a good group of guys. We all played in college pretty much. We've all been there, done that, so we can keep it a little more real with the guys sometimes, because the kids pretty much are the same over the years. I've been in this profession a long time now, and people ask me, what's the difference between now and then? And the kids are the kids. The only difference is like the technology piece now. Part that's changed and made it a lot harder is the parents have changed a lot over the years. I mean, when I
Hmm.
first started, a kid got in trouble or had an issue with the coach, like the parent would come in and they'd yell at the kid. But nowadays, there's less of that where now the complaints are always the adult's fault, the parent's fault, not the parents. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of adults has changed over the years, but we've got a great community here and we don't have to deal with a whole lot of that. Like I hear my counterparts at other schools have a lot more of that stuff going on. So sometimes we have to, coach them hard and hold them accountable. And, they know that we're in it for the right reasons and they know that we love them. And that's why sometimes we can coach them a little harder. And just the mesh of our guys and coaches just works well together. We all trust each other and you know what I mean? It's a special group, and that's just one example of just basketball that I was involved in. But we've got that with lots of different teams, and lots of teams and their cultures are really good. And, we're all striving to be the best version of ourselves. So if we all
Yeah.
doing that and we're putting that off on the kids, then we're all moving in the same direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of my favorite sayings, you got a couple of them that I really like. One of them's, it won't be long before winter asks what you did all summer. And then the other one that I think speaks a lot about life is, the ball is going to quit bouncing for you one day. And that was something I reiterated to my ninth grade guys and just letting them know, hey, you only have 4 years of opportunity to play unless you're just extremely blessed to be able to go play at the next level and preparing them to be, young men, fathers, husbands, etc., employees. Um, before we let you go, man, just talk about some of your favorite moments. Not necessarily the state championship run last year, but there was a lot of teams that went into laying that groundwork. Some of those players and teams that just kind of have a special place in your heart that kind of go into laying that foundation because before the state championship game, seeing the guys I knew personally like Reggie and Sam and JQ and Little Q, all those guys coming back before special, and it speaks to that community and that family that we preach. What are some of those teams and players that just kind of have that special place in your heart?
Yeah, I'd be remiss to start naming names because I'd miss somebody and they're going to see and, oh,
Yeah,
coach, what about me? You know what I mean? So I try
right.
to stay away from naming a lot, but it's hard to not name some. I mean, it just is. We started this thing from scratch, and just to lay the groundwork and piece by piece and all the guys that not just this year. I mean, it's easy to come back when you're winning and you got a shot at it, but
Hmm.
every year we have guys coming back, and you know, most guys that have went through our program and graduated here, like I talk to on a regular basis. I mean, they know that I'm still their coach for life, and they can call me and we can give each other a hard time and tell stories, and it goes back to our culture and the Raider way and how we do things here, and it's not the way some schools do things, but again, for us, it's worked well in just a piece of laying the groundwork step by step. I know you were talking about possible trying to name a all-time starting five since I've been here, so that's going to be hard to do, but there's just so many guys that have
Yeah.
poured into our guys, and all those guys coming back before we left, that was really cool and special, and I think is a tribute to our coaches here and the job that we've done pouring into them.
No, yeah, man, it's something that's awesome to be a part of, and I appreciate you giving me that opportunity several years ago, and just watching my role grow. But Coach, man, I appreciate you giving us the time and great conversation today. Really enjoyed it, but I don't have anything else for you. Fans, we'll see you 7:30 at TL Hanna Friday night. Need you to be there. Our football team really has a chance. They got an opportunity they can play with anybody on any given night, and need your support to be out there.
Coach Watson and his staff, they just deserve so much credit, and they deserve a big student body to come over there and support what they've done and the work with our young men, and a 2-9 team last year to 7 wins this year. I mean, it's just phenomenal. He is just a transformational leader, and kids love him and want to play for him, and they've done a heck of a job, his whole staff. So
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about that all-time Greenville High starting five since I've been here on the next time I'm on. So we'll
Yeah,
save that one
we'll save that one for basketball season,
for
maybe.
basketball season. Yeah, I've got some good notes on that. So
Yeah,
football team Friday and cross-country team Saturday. We've got a big weekend coming up.
that's awesome, man. Well, as always, man, thanks for your time and appreciate everything you do. And Red Raider Nation, we'll see you Friday and Saturday, and hopefully we can pull it out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders, man. See ya.
Yes, sir.